Henry, what's your topic? I'm going to get up. But while I do that, tell me what your topic is.
So my topic is...
Hot.
Is it? My topic is... What are comedies that can genuinely be considered among the greats?
Oh, we kind of had a discussion about this before we went through the list, but we didn't talk about like ones that are among the great. Or
For what?
we had that one time where it was the topic of just like a list of different comedies. I was just saying this reminds me of that. But for
was that the one where was that the episode with just you and me? Or
no, it was you, me, Ricky, and Henry. And we went,
the one of your guests.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
But
so
What I want to
what's your idea of like so comedies that are
among the best.
So
among the best?
See like lists of like the best movies of all time, the best TV shows of all time. They always pick the most serious things possible for it most of the time.
Yep.
So it's like when you see like a list of the best TV shows of all time, it's like, oh, The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, The Wire.
Yeah.
But you rarely see like more comedy-based things on there.
I actually disagree. I think TV shows are a little more open with that, right? Because when I think of great TV shows, while I do think of like serious TV shows, like The Wire, Breaking Bad,
The Breaking Wire.
the Denver Broncos.
Wire Brad.
I also think of
His wife, Hillary.
I also think of Arrested Development. I think of Seinfeld. I think of Always Sunny. Like I feel like TV shows are a little more open with that, of like being able to recognize that comedies are still considered like the greats, you know. But I do understand what you talk about with movies, right? Like, has there ever been a comedy nominated for a fucking Oscar?
Only the ones that technically count as comedies.
Excuse me.
Like
musicals, basically.
like when stuff like The Artist or Birdman, comedy.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I laughed like hell at the end of Birdman, but
why? Because
he died.
I mean, that's just your interpretation, man.
Interpretate. Like my interpretate.
Oh, what are some of the comedies that you think are the best and should be like recognized as like? Take a sip. Take it. Yeah.
Well, the first one that comes to mind is, when I think of like comedies that are genuinely like great movies, is stuff like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, like Ghostbusters is the one that everybody thinks of, right? Is because that universe and that story and the way that that film is shot is very unlike any other comedy. You know, it's filmed like the horror movie almost. You know, with the production side of it, and that's why the like Ghostbusters is really good, because I think a lot of comedies, especially today, what they fail to see is what makes comedies great is that they also, it's not, you know, how funny the joke is, but it's also, you have to look at like how good the story itself is, right? And I think a lot of comedies overblow that. It's like they try so hard to focus on like what's the raunchiest thing, and by doing that, yeah, exactly. And by doing that, they don't focus on the quality of what's actually going on in the story.
And the only modern comedy I feel really gets that is Ride Along.
No, I was gonna say, no, what's the fucking Old Hogs? What's the one?
Wild Hogs.
Wild Hogs. There we go. Yeah, Wild Hogs. So
as many balls jokes as possible. That's how we.
He's a Bolchinian,
and that's why like This Is the End. Like I feel like a lot of people would like reference that as like a great like modern comedy.
But I through my list again.
But I don't think that This Is the like. Go back, watch This Is the End for the first time in probably, what has it been, like 2 or 3 years at this point? Yeah. And see if that movie holds up. And I actually would want to like watch it when I get home tonight to see if it holds up, because I think like the jokes are there, but that story sort of is like whatever.
Yeah.
My problem with This Is the End was that it has my least favorite genre of comedy, which is let's kill famous people and that's the joke.
Yeah.
Like, oh look, Michael Cera's dead. This is funny, right?
Yeah, and like the most funny thing about Michael Cera in that movie was not that he died, was because he was like a super douche. It was fucking hilarious.
Girl, come over here.
Yeah, Michael Cera definitely needs to stay with that team of comedians because he definitely knows like how to grow with them. Because I recently saw Sausage Party, right? And Michael Cera is the little deformed sausage, which I like the entire time throughout the entire movie. I was like, who is that?
I was that way with Edward Norton.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh wait, his Jewish accent is his real voice. Edward Norton.
And that's why I think Sausage Party is like a way better movie than This Is the End. And I was looking at like sort of the reception of Sausage Party because I had no idea like how people felt about it. And here's the weird thing is like This Is the End was like generally liked and favored by critics and all around loved by audiences, right? And I went on Rotten Tomatoes for Sausage Party. Critics love it and audiences are like whatever. And I think that's really, really weird because Sausage Party has like a really good story and a really good message. It has a fucking weird ending that totally, I think, sort of not even I'm just gonna say it. There's a food orgy at the end, and not even that. Like, I get you want to make that like sort of those visual like weird jokes and with all the crazy shit that
they be way worse. Like I read over the script for that part.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I thought that it was going to be way worse because it was saying things like in a circle they fist each other.
Cottage
That's
cheese.
Hilarious. But not even that. It was like the whole like
I call a cream pie.
It was like the whole meta thing where they realized that they're like
animated characters.
Yeah, Edward Norton.
Yeah, and like going into this portal to go into our world to like that got like way too meta, you know. But I think it has like a better like foundation of like at least a story in that movie, and that's why I think Sausage Party is a better movie. I would say, and a better comedy than This Is the End. But what are some other ones that you would think of? Sorry, I just wanted to rant about that because you know Sausage Party was recently in mind.
I was just looking at movies I've given a 5 out of 5 in. And something that stuck out to me was Life of Brian. I'm the guy who likes that more than Holy Grail, mostly because people quote Life of Brian less.
Yeah, Life of Brian was like the Holy Grail when those movies were coming out. Like Holy Grail was the one that was PG, and then Life of Brian was the one that was R. So it was like that Life of Brian didn't get the exposure that Holy Grail obviously did. So, but I honestly like both of them equally.
Yeah, they're both great.
Yeah. Especially the ending of Life of Brian is so fucking good.
Always look on the
bright side of life. But
no one here whistle?
No.
Wow.
Probably the better.
Racist. And then another one because I can't think of anything this movie would qualify. It qualifies as everything. But I still think of it as a comedy as Pulp Fiction.
Really?
I mean, is there
like visual comedy or
is that not a comedy?
Jungle.
I mean, I think there are
like really look back on the scenes in that.
I mean, yeah, I was really laughing really hard when people were getting raped in that movie.
Yeah.
You mean just?
I think
it's. A
I
black
think there
comedy.
were funny elements to that movie, but I don't think that quite makes it a comedy. And that's sort of the like my same thought with Birdman, you know? Like I think there are funny moments in Birdman, but I don't think the focus is on the funny moments,
the
right?
Interesting thing with like I think what Pulp Fiction and Birdman might have a little bit in common is like they carry on a lot of not nonsensical but non-traditional ideas within like the realm of cinema.
Yeah, and they also have I'm blanking on the word, but they both show like they both have like super realistic like elements to them and like just crazy like over the top moments that I think are funny, right? Like where he finds like the fucking katana sword and he like pulls that out and you have like that shot of him with the sword in Pulp Fiction. Like that's a cool ass moment, but it's also a funny moment because you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
You don't laugh at it like right then and there, like just like aha, Bruce Willis with the samurai sword, but like
Bruce Willis.
It's kind of like an afterthought. You're like, wow, that was actually in a movie that was like fully produced.
Bruce Willis had a sword.
Yeah. Yep.
We
Exactly.
could have had a chainsaw.
Another one, Big Lebowski.
Oh,
I really like the Big Lebowski.
Coen
I think
brothers.
the Coen brothers are sort of like if you want to learn anything about comedy, I would watch the Coen brothers movies, like all of them. Not all of them are great, but I think they do have some heavy good hitters there.
Yeah.
You know, you have
Best comedy, Old Boy.
Old boy. You got Fargo, which I would deem as sort of like a black comedy with like these really fucked up elements, and then
No Country for Old Men, hysterical.
yeah.
oh, man. Javier Bardem.
And that's sort of like I love
still
the
haven't
Fargo
seen that
TV
movie.
show, but I feel like they lose a little bit of that in the TV show. Like they just focus on, like how you said earlier, just like the serious dark elements of it, right? There was some like there's some quirkiness to the show, but I feel like they lost a little bit of like the authentic like visual comedy and visual sort of like
The only good movie ever made, Zoolander.
yeah, yes, Kevin James, the peak of acting in our time.
You're thinking if we bought a zoo.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Zoo Cop? No. Zookeeper. Zookeeper.
No, Zoolander.
Zoolander with
Ben Stiller.
Ben
Owen
Stiller,
Wilson,
the
and
only
David Bowie.
and the only Ben Stiller movie I think that's ever worth watching.
Royal Tenenbaums.
Zoolander,
No.
though, that's my favorite Will Ferrell performance.
That's the most ridiculous Will Ferrell
I feel
performance
like I'm taking crazy pills.
because I think it finally made his sort of. He always plays one character. I was having this conversation with my girlfriend that he always sort of, no matter what movie he's in, he always sort of just plays the same exact character, just put in different situations.
He plays Will Ferrell parody account on Twitter.
Exactly. And and I think Zoolander like finally turned his character into like a different character. Like it finally like brought in those Will Ferrell elements of like crazy and yelling all the time and like almost like creepily never being able to break character, and actually made it into this like goofy villain, right? And like in all of Will Ferrell's other movies, it's like those characters never really stand apart, right? Like if you put Ricky Bobby and
Brendan Doback, kind of the
Rob
same.
Burgundy.
not Ron Burgundy. I would say a little bit of Burgundy, and also his character in Step Brothers. If you put those three
Brendan
characters,
Doback.
okay, if you put those three characters in the same room, they're the same.
interchangeable.
Yeah, like you could easily place them out, and you'd still be able to get away with the same jokes and whatnot. So,
Someone doesn't like Stranger Than Fiction.
what a shit movie.
Excuse.
Yeah.
He went there.
I don't know, like sorry, I just wanted to ramble on about that because I think Zoolander is a good one. Zoolander is so fucking funny, and
also it has really strong internal continuity with itself. Like at no point in that movie do you see Ben Stiller turn to the left until the very end.
really,
Magnum.
It's beautiful. It's like the same fucking face he's been making.
Water is the essence of wetness. One that I'm surprised you haven't said yet is Christmas Story.
Oh, Christmas Story. That's a good one, and that's one that I usually don't associate again with comedy, right? It's like a kids film, and it is like a funny kids film at times, and yeah, that is a good one because it's got just like those classic tropes in that movie that it does so well, and I feel like it sort of it goes beyond its time period. Like you can still watch that movie today, and it's still funny just because of like the situations that that kid finds himself in.
Now, Christmas Story 2, on the other hand,
even better,
which I actually watched.
Didn't that come out like just recently too?
Yeah, and it was the worst thing. 7.
I don't think 7's here anymore. Yeah, I think he went out for chores, or he might be editing. Who knows?
Back to the Future.
Yeah, I would say like Back to the Future. No,
I like all three.
I like all three. I don't think all three are.
Back to the Future 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't even think 2 has a lot of faults. But I think the first Back to the Future definitely yes is like. But again, that's another one where comedy isn't sort of the focus, and that. But I guess that's why it sort of stands the test of time more than other comedy films, right? Because it has sort of that same element that Ghostbusters has. Is like it is constantly funny, but something you don't really think about.
What was the name of the dad from Back to the Future?
Oh, I don't remember. Why?
George.
Yeah, George McFly. That's the name of my phone.
Have you ever thought about how in the new continuity that's created at the end of Back to the Future 1 where like Biff is like takes care of the house, like how fucked up that whole universe is now? Because one, George McFly hired someone who tried to rape his wife.
Yep.
And two, he has a kid who looks exactly like the girl that the guy that his girlfriend met back in the 50s. For like 1 week.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, they never got any photos of him, right? So it's sort of like, does time mess with how they remember him looking, right? It's not a perfect movie. It's really fucking you up right now. You're just like, oh, god damn. Yeah, like the end of Back to the Future is a little ridiculous. I was watching Freaks and Geeks lately. I just realized that isn't Biff the gym teacher in Freaks and Geeks? I feel like that's the same actor. So. Yeah.
Freaks and Geeks, also known as I Like Indie TV.
Max, you've been quiet. What comedies do you think?
What funny men make you chuckle?
Yeah, like what comedies do you think stand the test of time?
Alien 3 and 2001: A Space Odyssey. No,
Gene Wilder.
I'm gonna take rest in peace.
Now you say it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this. I'm not gonna drink just to show that it's my turn.
Yeah. Okay. It's the talking cup.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. We showed you the pumpkin.
But one of my immediate go-tos for one of the best comedies, and I guess in relative recent times,
is a Serbian film.
No, no, I hate that. Anyway,
porn.
No, we'll get into that's a discussion for another day. But Hot Fuzz.
And Shaun of the Dead.
I really like Edgar Wright. And kind of like what you were saying earlier, Barrett, it's not just the jokes. And most of his jokes are actually just kind of quips on point, but also...
Quips on point?
But for tiny foreshadowing elements. Like in Hot Fuzz, if you pay attention closely, Edgar Wright has a huge thing for foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah.
Clever ways of puns. But he focuses much of the movie on developing not only the characters and who they are, but the story. The story's pretty solid. It's nothing new. Yeah. But it's something that's followed through till the very end, and so it's a pretty solid movie all around.
What's your name, kid? A. Aaron Aronson.
Well, why don't you go be the mayor? Or if you want to be the mayor around here, or not the mayor, the big sheriff, why don't you go to the model town? They fight in the model town.
Oh my god! The guy who was the one of the buildings go through his head.
Oh yeah,
and then you realize after a while he's still alive,
and it's just there.
They all die, even though there's a mine.
What's this? Oh, you mean they all live, even though there's a mine?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Except for the one surveillance guy.
Oh, you don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, I think there's definitely high points. There are definitely highlights throughout the history of comedy movies that set a new direction for what comedy should try to focus on.
Yeah,
but I think when you try to repeat that same exact thing, that's when it becomes non-creative anymore. Because big examples, Anchorman, I think is actually a really funny movie, and I think also is a great comedy. Because of how unique the comedy is.
What makes it work is that it's completely surreal, but at no point takes focus on how surreal it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything in it just flows.
It doesn't. They just all go with it. The best part of that about that movie is the
flute scene.
Well, no,
I like the jazz flute, but I also like the gang fight.
But not even the gang fight when the boss is always on the phone talking he has like 3 conversations on the phone, and all of them are about his like troubled son at school.
Oh, yeah.
And like it always just escalates, and like they never really care about the escalation of like how ridiculous that like those situations are, right? The fight scene in Anchorman is one of the best scenes in all of comedy, I would say, just because of how fucking ridiculous it is, and how
What's the name of the stupid guy again?
Brick.
Brick straight up killed a guy.
Yeah, they're all just like they're hanging out, and they're just like hanging out. It's like, well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, they just dipped. They just left the
but yeah, they're just like afterwards, they're all just drinking. It's like, Brick killed a guy. It's like, you had a grenade. It's like, I don't even know where I got that.
Where'd you get that hand grenade, Brick?
I don't know.
And then was he? Oh, he's just during the fight. He just like has the grenade out and he's just yelling. But have you ever seen Blues Brothers? Because that's another one that I also really like too.
Blues Clues, yeah.
Blues Clues, best fucking.
Oh yeah, Sandman was in it.
Dude, they were on a mission from God.
When we did a whole episode
topic about Blues Clues, still one of our best performing videos this year. It's so fucking ridiculous.
Did you ever mention about why the hell Steve dresses like Sandman from the Spider-Man?
Oh, no, we didn't talk about that.
And it worries me. But yeah, Blue's Clues is also one of my favorite.
I was confused because I was like, what Sandman is he talking about?
Oh,
Marvel Sandman, Morpheus Sandman, ECW Sandman?
No, not the Neil Gaiman.
Enter Sandman, Mr. Sandman.
Mr. Sandman and Enter Sandman.
Blues Brothers, though, that's another really good one, because that's also like how ludicrous that becomes. It's like all of the cops like chasing them at the fucking end is fucking hilarious.
We got both kinds of music. Country and Western.
One of my favorite parts though is like when it's like towards the end of the movie and they're also being chased by the neo-Nazis who want to get revenge on them for interrupting.
You can't describe any scene from this without it sounding like you're drugged up.
Like they're following them on a highway and it hasn't been built yet or finished, so they're like on an overpass, and then like I forgot how it exactly happens. Yeah, you're right, it does sound like that, but the neo-Nazis just like fly off the ramp. They don't stop, but somehow they just gain so much elevation. So when it shows a shot of the car like falling, there's like no backdrop of buildings or anything. They're just like so much higher than they should.
They're in like space at this point.
It's kind of like that. And Animal House. I also really liked.
See, I think the key element that a lot of modern comedies are facing today, right, is that
they gave up before when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
The Germans?
Is that great comedies are based around people who aren't normal people, right? A lot of modern day comedies are just like, just regular people like you and me, and they're dealing with all of these crazy scenarios, and they know and understand that they're crazy scenarios. But what makes a good comedy is that like the people who are dealing with whatever obstacle it is in that movie just accepts that it's like a normal thing, right? And so, and that's
Airplane.
Exactly, right? Like
smoking
the fucking
or non-smoking. Oh, smoking.
Smoking, and like they fight. He takes the ticket, and him as a character never like focuses on that. They never take a moment to explain the joke and to be like, "Ha, I get it. Do you get it?" They never do that.
Mustard, hold the mayo.
And by doing that,
you can relate to me.
Not only do you make an interesting like piece of work or story, you're also respecting your audience in that way. Like a lot of comedies today do that whole thing where the characters in the movie like understand what the joke is, and it's like, we get it. Do you get it? Like I said earlier,
the dog reacted.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just it's fucking.
What the fuck is going on, dude?
Like Zoink Scoob.
So I think that's what a lot. I know we turned this from like our favorite like comedies that are like the best comedies.
I mean, we still
like Zoink Scoob.
Yeah, but but I don't know. I can't think of too many comedies like off the top of my head anymore. I would actually say. And this is why fucking
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
He was so good at this point was Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore. Those were 2 great movies, and those are still funny today. And it's because of how ridiculous the situation is. Like the fucking this adult ass man going back to the 1st grade, going through like that would never happen, and it's sort of just like, oh yeah. This is completely fucking normal, right? Like some people make fun of him along the way, but like they never like they're never like, you're in on the joke, right? You understand why this is funny.
He never at any point like is talking to another character going, oh, this is crazy. Oh, this is crazy. I shouldn't be doing this, because the audience also knows I shouldn't be doing this.
Yes, exactly. And so it
reaches his hand out in 3D, steals your popcorn.
Nut.
But
like,
the part where Steve Buscemi just puts on the fucking lipstick.
so fucking good.
time.
So hilarious.
I love how Steve Buscemi's in every Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
He's just like, what are you doing, man?
He's like, what are you doing? You're way
than
more
this.
talented than.
Come on, you could be in Coen Brothers movies right now. You usually are.
Yeah. And then like
Steve Buscemi.
I like there's that whole fucking scene in Billy Madison, where like he has like a fucking party every time he graduates a fucking grade, right? And it's just like this surrealism, and they never like throw like they're never like, why are we doing this?
You can't have a party.
And like so it's just like things like that I think comedy is losing every once in a while, and that's why I think like Adam Sandler was definitely like a pioneer for those two movies, at least, of like what comedy should be focusing on. And then he slowly turned into one of those everyday people where it's just like, hi, you were in on the joke, right? You get it, right?
What comedy is really missing is the lack of jokes about how it's okay to hit a woman.
Whoa. Were there any other movies that you guys wanted to shout out that you think do really well with comedies?
I'm a thirsty boy.
You are a
Last
thirsty
two,
boy.
and we already talked about like why they work. The absurdity level and everybody accepting the levels of absurdity within the world, Blazing Saddles, and most Mel Brooks films, honestly, kind of do that.
War a blazing saddle.
And Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh,
I really like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou.
yeah. I have not watched that movie in so fucking long.
So good. Young Frankenstein was great.
Yeah, Young Frankenstein was another one I have not seen probably since.
Mockumentaries are definitely hit or
8.
miss. For
This is
me.
Spinal Tap.
Yep.
Best in Show. Mighty Wind.
Mockumentaries are sort of making a comeback. Specifically, what's that show? Documentary Now, with Fred Armstead and Bill Hader, and someone else too. Someone else works on that show. He has a late night talk show. It's like the super late or the late show with
At Midnight guy.
I forget his name.
Scott Auker?
No. The Front Bottoms were on a show at one point. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I forget.
Jimmy Fallon.
No.
Jimmy Kimmel.
No.
Bill Maher.
No.
Bill O'Reilly.
Yes.
Well, one recent mockumentary I really liked was What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, that movie's so fucking good. I love that movie.
Like it, I don't know. It didn't go in as depth as for a lot of like the whole thing is just like it's a parody on like a lot of like interpretation of vampire culture, and it didn't go in like as deep into a lot of it than I thought it would, but it didn't need to, and that's what was.
I'm sad they killed Nosferatu.
Oh, poor
Nosferatu.
Poor Peter. Deadly sunlight accident.
Do you have any other ones that you wanted to shout out?
I don't know if it counts, but The Princess Bride's the best movie of all time.
I don't know if it's the best movie of all time, but I will say it's a really good comedy.
It is a good comedy.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's
Who
really
doesn't
good.
love that movie?
That if you're like Princess Bride fucking romance, shut up.
Here's why it's flawed.
Here's why Princess Bride is good. One, it's got Andre the Giant. Go see it.
I'm still so proud of that
Found
shirt.
these horses.
I'm still so proud of that shirt I was able to get Ricky when I was at GameSpot, where it's like a lineup. It's like sort of like Usual Suspects, but it's got Andre the Giant, the
Fizric,
and
Inigo Montoya, Mandy,
and they're all like lined up in a row, and it's fucking awesome.
What the hell was Andre the Giant's name in that movie?
I don't remember. I've not watched it. That's another movie it's been a couple of years.
I adore that movie.
It's on Netflix right now, I think, right?
Yeah,
I should watch that
It's
soon.
always somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
It's one of those movies that it's just like, if you want to watch it, you can watch it.
Yeah. I would say comedies, we haven't lost all hope with modern comedies. I think there are still some gems out there that we can find. But I think
I really like The Nice Guys, but no one else saw that.
I want to watch it. It's like now
I
like
loved that movie.
I want to watch it mainly because of Movie of the Year contenders, and a lot of people are telling me to watch it
give
because
you-
of that.
You should watch Don't Think Twice.
Mm-hmm.
It's still in theaters. It's about an improv troupe.
Okay.
It's really good.
Okay. I'm excited. But I think
Key's in it. From Key and Peele.
Okay.
I
was like
Keegan Key.
Yeah, Key's in it. You know the Key from Kingdom Hearts.
But I think the
I don't open any locks.
I'm too big for that.
Stupid.
I think the main problem with comedies now is mainly, the whole like, hey, constantly asking the audience, hey, are you on this inside joke? And also like just fucking like
acceptance of absurdity.
But also let's make a reference to every modern day thing that's going on. Because those movies are always lost in the water.
Modern day relevance.
Friedberg movies.
Yeah.
Epic movie meets the Spartans, disaster movie, Vampires Suck, The Starving Games.
I actually watched Vampires Suck. I don't know why I watched it, but I did.
Because it was right at the point where everyone hated Twilight, so everyone convinced themselves it was good because it's making fun of Twilight.
Ken Jeong was the best part about that movie. Ken Jeong.
Gay.
Yeah. Movies.